Hello and welcome to a new lesson in Linux. In this lesson we will talk about LVM. LVM is a logical volume manager for the Linux kernel. It manages disk drives and similar mass storage devices. The term volume refers to a disk drive or a partition. So let's start with making our first logical volume partition on the system. First I will run the command parted -l to get information about hard disks attached to the system. As you see here, I have three hard disks. The first one is SDA, the second one is SDB, and here the third one is SDC. And of course here the hard disk SDC, we still did not label it. And here we have the size of this hard disk and the size of this hard disk here. Let's first make a label for this hard disk over here, SDC. I will type mk label. I'll type first parted /dev/sdc. Press enter. Then I will type mk label ms-dos and press enter. And then I'll press Q and enter. I'll type parted -l one more time. And I can see here it's successfully labeled. And of course there isn't any partitions under the hard disk SDC. As you see here under SDB there are three partitions. Now I'll create a new partition in SDB here, and then I will create a new partition in SDC, and then I will add the new created partitions to a logical volume group. First I will start with the partition in SDB. I will type parted /dev/sdb and press enter. I'll press P to print some information. As you can see here I have three partitions and they are approximately 16.5 gigabytes in size. So I will now make a new partition, make part and primary. Then I'll type 17 GB, then 22 GB, and that means that I will give the new partition 5 gigabytes as size, and it will start from 17 gigabytes to 22 gigabytes. Press enter. I'll press on P to display the information one more time. As you can see here, it's partition number 4, and it has the start of 17 gigabytes and the end of 22 gigabytes and the size of 5 gigabytes. Now I will type the command set 4, and 4 here refers to partition 4, and then LVM on to enable the logical volume mode, and press enter. And of course don't worry about this warning message, it's normal. It's because I will have to reboot in the end after I finish editing or setting my partitions. And now if I press P to display the information again and enter, as you can see here the partition number 4 has under flags LVM. This means that the LVM mode is enabled on this partition. So now I'll press on Q and then I'll reboot system. But before I reboot, I have forgot that I will make another partition on SDC. So I will make the second partition on SDC, and then I will reboot. As you see here, we have done the first partition, which is partition number 4, SDB4 on the hard disk SDB. Now we will make another partition on the hard disk SDC. SDC. So I will type parted /dev /SDC and enter. Now I'm in the mode. I'll press P. As you can see, I have I don't have any partitions in this SDC hard disk. So I will create a partition. I make part primary, and I will give it 5 gigabytes as size. I will type 1 GB to 6 GB and press enter. And then now I will press P. As you see here, I have the partition number 1, the start and the end, and its size 5 gigabytes. Now I will set or enable the LVM mode, the logical volume mode on it. So I will type set 1 LVM on, and of course here 1 referring to partition number 1, and I'll press enter. Now if you press P again to be sure, you will find it here under flags. LVM is enabled for this partition. Now I will press Q and enter, and I will reboot. Enter, and I will pause the video and open when I bring the system back up. Okay, now I have brought the system up, and we will continue our process. Now I have created the 2 new partitions on the hard disks, SDB and SDC, which are SDB4 and SDC1. If you type here fdisk -L, press enter. As you can see, we have the 2 partitions that I'm talking about, SDB4 and SDC1. Now let's turn those 2 partitions into physical volume partitions. And to turn them, I will use the command pv create, then /dev /sdb4, the name of the partition, and then the name of the second partition, which is SDC1, and press enter. As you see now, the physical volume is created for both the partitions SDB4 and SDC1. Now to display the physical volume partitions that you have created, you will type pv display and press enter. And as you can see here, you have the first physical volume partition, which is SDB4, and here is the second physical volume partition, which is SDC1, and here is the size 4.5 or about 5 gigabytes, and here is the size 2, and some other information about your created physical volume partitions. Now after we have created physical volume partitions, let's create a volume group and add the 2 physical volume partitions that we have just created into this group. So to create a volume group, you will type vg create, and then you will type the name of the volume group that you want to create. Here I will type the name v group home, and then I will type the 2 partitions that I want to add to this group. So it will be /dev /sdb4 and /dev /sdc1, and by that I will create the volume group. It will consist of those 2 partitions, or 2 physical partitions, SDB4 and SDC1. And to create the group, I'll press enter. As you see here, volume group v group home is successfully created. To display the volume groups that you have, you will type VG display and press enter. This will display the volume groups that you have. I have here only one volume group by the name VG group home. As you can see, here is the number 2, and this number 2 indicates that the physical partitions in the volume group are from two different hard disks. And as you can see here, this is the total size of the volume group. Okay, now we have a logical volume group which has two physical partitions. Each partition has the size of 5 GB. That means that the total group size is about 10 gigabytes, as we have seen. Now let's create a logical volume. And logical volume is like taking some of the size of the physical partitions on the logical group, on the volume group, and turning this size into a single partition. Let's see how to do that. To create a logical volume, you will type lv create -l, and then you will decide the size. For example, here I'll type 8 GB. This means that the logical volume I'm doing will take 8 gigabytes from the 10 gigabytes, the total size of the volume group. And then I'll type -n, and then you will type the name of the logical volume. Here I will type log vol home, and then the name of the volume group. So this means that I will make 8 gigabytes of the group, the volume group v group home, to be a logical volume by this name here, log vol home, and I will press enter. As you can see here, it displays logical volume log vol home created. Now I will give this logical volume an ext4 file system, so I will type mke2fs -t, and then ext4 -j, then /dev /v group home / the name of the logical volume, which will be log vol home, and press enter. As you see, it's successfully done. Now let's mount the new logical volume on home directory to extend the home directory disk space. First I'll type df-h and press enter. As you see here, the home directory has the size of 4.9 or about 5 gigabytes. Now I will mount the logical volume on the directory home to extend its size. But first I'll move all of the contents of the home directory to home 2, and after I extend the home directory, I will bring back its contents. So I will type cd/home cp-rvf star and then /home2, and this command means that I will move all of the contents of the directory home to the directory home2, and press enter. Okay, sorry, here I should take a space between the star and the F. Now if you press enter, it will move all of the contents in the home directory to the directory home2. We'll get back to the root. As you can see here, the partition that's mounted on the directory home is SDA2, so I will have to unmount this partition here so that I can mount the logical volume on the directory home. So I will type unmount and then /home, press enter. Sorry, the command will be umount, not unmount, and press enter, and it has unmounted. Now I will mount the logical volume on the directory home. I will type mount, then /dev /v group home /log vol home, and then /home. So by this command here, I will mount the logical volume by this name, log vol home, on the directory home. I'll press enter. Now it's successfully mounted. So after you mount the logical volume on home, you must edit in the file fs tab. So we will go to the file vi etc /etc/fs tab, press enter. I'll get in the insert mode, and I'll get down to this line here and all the way up until before home, and I will delete all of this line. Then I will type /dev /v group home, then /log vol home, and I will get the home directory back to its place. And then I will exit the insert mode, and I will save and press enter. Now I'll type the command mount -a, and this command here reads all of the contents in this file and mounts it. Press enter. Alright, it seems here that I have made a spelling mistake. I should have typed log, here it's love. So I will get to the file again, and I will get to the same line and just change this letter. Then I will save, type the command mount -a and enter, and it's successfully mounted. As you see, we have created a logical volume and mounted it on the home directory to extend its disk space. Now let's see how to create a new physical partition and add it to the volume group, which is vgroup home. But first, let's move the contents of the directory home 2 back to its original place, which is the directory home. I'll go to home 2, and then move all of the files to /home, press enter. It's now moving the files back to the directory home. Then cd 2 dots to get back to the root. Okay, now let's see how to create a new physical partition and add it to the volume group, vgroup home. I'll type parted -l and enter. As you see here, we have still some free disk space in the hard disk SDC. So we will make another partition, or add another partition in the hard disk SDC. So we'll type parted /dev /sdc, enter, then p, then I will make the new partition, make part primary, and I will give it from 6500 MB. Of course, you can type the size here in megabytes, or you can type it in gigabytes, to 11500 MB. So that will be another 5 gigabytes. between this number and this number, and I'll press enter, and then P. It will display for me the new partition. Now I will enable the logical volume mode on this partition. So I'll type set 2, and 2 means the partition number 2, and then LVM on, press enter. As you can see, it's done correctly. If you type P again, you will find here under flags LVM. And now I'll press Q and then reboot, enter, and I will pause the video until I bring the system back up. Okay, now I've brought the system back up and we will complete our process. Now let's turn the new partition that we have just created to a physical partition. I'll type pv create, then slash dev slash stc2, the name of the partition that I have just created, and press enter. Okay, here's a small error message, but it appears that it's not affecting anything. It's just can't check the multipathing for the device, so it may appear for you, but it doesn't affect anything. And as you can see here, physical volume dev SDC2 successfully created. Now let's add the new physical partition to the volume group, vgroup home. I will type vg extend, then the volume group's name, which will be vgroup home, then slash dev slash stc2, and press enter. And you can see here volume group vgroup home successfully extended. Now let's display the physical volume. I will type pv display, enter, and as you can see here is the new physical partition that we have just added, and these are the previous two, this one and this one, and here is the third one that we have added with the size of about 5 gigabytes. And to display the volume group information, you will type vg display and enter, and you can see here the size have been increased, and that's because we have added the new physical partition. Okay, now if I type df minus h, if you remember, we have made the previous logical volume with the size of 8 gigabytes, and we have mounted it on the directory home, so the directory home now has the size of about 8 gigabytes. Now you can increase the size of this logical volume, and let's see how to do that. You will type the command lvr lv resize, then minus l, then 10 JB, then the name dev, then the group's name, the volume group's name, group home, then slash the name of the logical volume. And this means that I will increase the size of the logical volume logvol home from 8 gigabytes to 10 gigabytes. If I press enter, as you can see here, extending logical volume to 10 gigabytes, and that it's successfully resized. Now if you type df minus h, as you can see here, the size of the directory home still did not change, but the size of the logical volume has been changed to 10 gigabytes. So to apply those changes on the directory home, you will type the command resize to fs, and then /dev v group home /log vol home, and then 10g, and I'll press enter, and it has changed it successfully. Now if I type df-h again, you can see here the home directory size has changed from previously over here it was 7.9 gigabytes. Now it's about 10 gigabytes. Okay, now let's see how to rename a logical volume or a volume group. To rename a logical volume, you will type lv rename and then v group home log vol home lv home, and in here first you type the name of the volume group, and then you will type the name of the logical volume, and then the new name of the logical volume that you want it to be changed to. Now I'll press enter. As you can see here, renamed log_vol home to lv home here in volume group v group home. Now I have changed in the name of the logical volume, so that means that I will have to edit in the fstab file. And of course, to edit the logical volume in the fstab file, I will have to unmount the logical volume first from the directory that it's on. So I will type umount and then /home and press enter. It's successfully unmounted. Now I'll type vi etc fstab and press enter. I'll get in the insert mode, and I'll get down here to this line, and I will change the old name to the new name, which is lv home, and then I will save, enter, and then I will type mount -a and enter. Now if you type df-h, press enter, you will see the new name lv home that's mounted on the directory. Okay, now let's see how to rename a volume group. You will type vg rename, and then the name of the volume group, v group home, and then vg home, and that means that I will change the name of the volume group vg group home to vg home. I'll press enter. As you can see here, volume group v group home successfully renamed to vg home. If I type vg display, press enter, as you can see here, the name has been changed to vg home. And of course, because I have changed the name, I will have to edit in the fstab. So vi/etc/fstab and press enter, and I will get to the insert mode and all the way down to this line, and here is the group name. I will change it to vg home, the new name that we have just changed, and then I will get out and save, enter, and I will type mount -a and enter. Okay, here it appears a mistake because I forgot to unmount the home directory, so I will type umount home first. Sorry, I mean I forgot the slash, then enter, and then now I will mount it again by mount -a press enter. As you see now, it's successfully mounted. If you type df-h and enter, you could find here that the volume group's name has been changed to the new name that we have just did. Now we will make a simple test check or a check test on the directory home, so that we will be sure that the directory is working and that there is no problems with it. So I'll type cd/home and I will create a couple of files, touch1, 2, 3, example, press enter. Now ls to display. As you can see here, I have 1, 2, 3, and it's working okay. And by this we have learned the logical volume manager together, how to create and manage partitions using LVM. Thank you for watching and see you in the next lesson.